Hi, everyone.
Hey,
I'm Alicia,
and I'm Meredith.
and this is Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast, the season premiere of season 6. Can you believe this show has been on for decades? I swear.
I want it to be the Grey's Anatomy of reality television.
I want them to show up with their kids.
This could happen. It's like how Jersey Shore went to family vacation. We can do that.
This would be great. Okay, before we get into one of the best season premieres of Summer House I think we've ever fucking had
of any show.
Nothing
has been this good.
Honestly, the only other one that rivals is Salt Lake City season 2, and that's only because
there was an arrest.
There was alluding to an arrest, but we had to wait for it. We're not waiting for fucking anything.
Yeah, but like we knew what was happening with Salt Lake City. This is amazing. This stuff is insane.
This is amazing. Okay, so before we get into it, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this show. It's about the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast, which will be ending next week, but it's still going on because Vanderpump never ends. We love it, but it never ends.
Come hang out with us for the past seasons.
Follow us on Instagram at Vanderpasta. I have my tweets going up. This one, I did not wait a second. Don't check out the Instagram if you're not trying to be spoiled, because I real-time uploading those tweets. And join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to any episodes that we record early. This is usually when we go back and watch old seasons of shows, but like right now, if you're just joining us, you're listening to this, it was up on our Patreon like 48 hours before or whatever. So, or no, it's Tuesday. It's 12 hours before. I don't know. Whatever. Listen to it right away. Also, you get access. No, you don't. Hang on. What else happens at $1 a month?
You get access to our pre-shows.
Our pre-shows. Sorry, I have the wrong thing pulled up. There we go. Yeah, you get access to our pre-shows, which is where Meredith and I just catch up and talk about whatever the hell we want.
All of our future travels was the keynote of this one.
For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, you get access to any after shows that we do, and that's usually when we go back and watch old episodes of old seasons. Also, we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Chris, Dustin, Jackie, Tiffany, Tracy, Danae, Gina, Kelsey, Mariah, and Zoe.
Woohoo!
All of our faves. And then sorry, I just burped a little. For $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, you get to give us your thoughts on the live shows, okay? If this is the first time you're listening to a Summer House podcast and you found us and you're like, I want to tell these bitches what I think, this is how I'm going to post every week before the episode and say, give me your thoughts, especially now that I know we're all going to have a lot of thoughts on this show.
Yes.
Give us some thoughts. And then also we will pick a patron of the episode. So let me really quick. I'm going to try and keep track this time of who I picked. But this week I'm going to pick Tiffany. Mostly because she messaged us on the Patreon and offered to join our show whenever we need her, which we might, if we're like traveling around, Tiffany, we might need you to sub in really quick.
Actually, there's another live perk.
We also keep talking about having a Patreon
happy hour
with the $5 a month patrons. We can really hear your thoughts and get into it. We will get that together. We've been very crazy with the holidays, but now we're back. We're focused. We're ready for Summer House.
You know what? I think we should definitely do it soon because we'll get a little teaser of a few episodes in Summer House and be able to wrap up with Vanderpump here.
Exactly. So we will be in touch. Really quick, I'm mixing it up because I deserve a drink. That's how I feel. So
I'm not. I'm chugging water because I'm hungover from a poor choice of a Monday night hangout.
I'm stressed, and I know I said on the last episode probably that I wasn't going to drink. And
no, it is a season premiere. This is a celebration, honey.
I had no Lover Boys left. I was so mad. Also, they were sold out at Target.
Wow, look at them killing it. At least there's one positive moment in Kyle's life.
crazy. Also, if you like the show, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. We have no new reviews, but that's normal because the season just started. But give us that 5-star review, baby.
Do it now. Take 5 seconds. Do it while you're listening.
So let's get into the episode.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we have this opening scene. It's Amanda and Kyle's wedding, but then they're like, will it get cut off or will it be called off? Are they going to make it down the aisle? We see Craig at the wedding. So I think they were trying to show us like, is the wedding going to happen while we're at the wedding? We're questioning. Spoiler, if you fucking live in a Bravo universe, you know they got married.
Yes.
But obviously they're
But it's like, what was the journey here? What was the journey the day of even?
Questioning it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we get this season on Summer House. We are partying. There's some new people. Kyle still got it. Lindsay's a free agent, ready to make out with everyone. Are Carl and Lindsay together? They hinted it. Which again, spoiler, they are. Sorry, but they
announced it like
this
week.
The journey I need to see. People call Lindsay out. Andrea and Paige are going strong, but then Craig and Paige are going on a date, which again, we know Paige is with Craig, but I want to see the journey. It's like we know Endgame, but we have
no clue what the path is to like, you get one little snapshot of like what life is like present day, but like what the heck happened behind the scenes.
Yeah, Paige makes out with Craig in the elevator, which is like the hottest makeout Bravo's ever aired.
It's the way they edit it. It's like,
I know, it's so good. Austin's back and he's with Sierra, but Lindsay and Austin kiss, and then Austin and Lindsay are in bed together.
Whoa.
And he's super creepy about it. Sorry,
I'm like mega question mark here because how do we get from Austin into Carl?
I know. Luke is super pissed at Austin. The wedding is happening. There are fights though. Amanda's crying. She might call off the engagement with the help of the new girl, because I didn't know her name at the time, because this new girl apparently cut off her engagement. We find it out later, but at the time it was very confusing. Kristen Cavallari is in a 30-way with Craig and Austin.
Okay, I never saw that headline is all I'm going to say.
This was so long ago. I was like, when Paige was like, Kristen, and I was like, who the fuck is Kristen?
Holy.
And I was like, oh yeah. Someone's $4 million in debt. Andrea's crying over Paige. Lindsay and Sierra fight. Sierra disrespects the fuck out of Danielle. And does anyone object to this marriage? So yeah, that's what happens. Also, this is a Danielle stan podcast.
Okay, your 50% of the podcast can be a Danielle stan.
Danielle stan.
Save this microphone. I'm not saying I'm not for her, but like I'm an equal opportunity stan account here.
Stan. Okay, so we're in New York City. It is Friday, July 2nd at 1:11 p.m. Kyle and Amanda are driving to the Hamptons. They're going to get married, but it's been a long engagement. Then at 1:31, Danielle gets picked up by Lindsay. They're so happy to be back. Sierra and Paige are on their way. Paige is driving. She's got curlers in her hair. And then like there's another body in the back.
And then she like pops out from behind of Sierra's.
The angles they had, like she was not, and then they're like middle angle. And I was like, who the fuck is that?
He's like, hey guys.
This is Mya, Paige's friend. Everyone's excited because everything's going to be open. We're going to get to go out. And I mean, last summer was just hell for Lindsay. We had Sandwich Gate. It was
my God.
Even though that's the thing she's most famous for. And I am obsessed.
It just, from last year to this year, life is just so different, both like with real life, but then like how the summer house was structured, what house we're in, like so many differences.
So last summer, Lindsay was with Stravi, but they broke up over the summer and like it was a big thing. No one cared. But now she's casually dating Jason, which I was then like, then where the fuck is he?
I was like, wait, whoa, what? I was like, I didn't think that they were still dating.
But she said it's not exclusive, so she's being independent, which is fair. But I was like, why is he not here?
I'm like, okay, but like, can we give us a little bit more information from when we left the summer house to now July 2nd? Like anything here.
Yeah. So Amanda and Kyle's wedding is 3 months away. They got to do all this wedding stuff. Exciting. So now we're in the Hamptons. It's 4:49 p.m. Danielle and Lindsay are the first ones here. and they run to go look at the dope. It's a dope house. It is
Oh my,
super cool.
but I kind of think it's too nice. Like
It's
we've
I want to
really
trash the
upgraded
house.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to trash the house. There's a bidet even. Everyone's assholes can be so clean.
Okay. We talked about this on Winter House. What is the ruling on, do you go pick out rooms if you're the first one there? Or do you wait for everybody to get there?
There was no room drama, just like
I'm
spoiler,
shocked.
and I'm pissed.
I'm kind of annoyed because we had such room drama in Vermont that like I'm like, all right, Kyle, where's your bitching and complaining? But in the summer house, it is known they always get the master.
Yeah, Amanda and Kyle do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sad, but I mean it's fine, whatever. Also, they have so many rooms. There was a spare room. So
which Luke isn't here yet, so I'm curious if that's his
that's
room.
true. Also, Luke liked our photo that I posted.
Oh,
just so everyone's aware. Okay, yeah. So Carl's here. It's the three amigos. Carl gets his room, Lindsay gets her room, and Danielle gets some rosé.
Love it. I'm like, pop those bottles.
She's like, I'm not fighting with anyone. I'm just gonna get some drinks. And so it's 5:19. Paige and Sierra are here with Mya. So we meet Mya. She moved to New York City 2 years ago with her ex, but they're not together anymore. But she loves NYC, so she's here to stay. And Paige invited her. And of course she said, fuck yeah, because it's what we all say if Paige invited us to the summer house.
Hell yeah.
Also, Beyonce is in the Hamptons. So Maya's in the Hamptons.
Her like reasoning for being there and then also like meeting Paige. I'm like, you're my new best friend. She's like, Beyonce comes to the Hamptons, I come to the Hamptons. And then Carl's like, how'd you guys meet? And she's like anybody else,
Drinking.
you know? You just, didn't you drink? And Carl's probably like, I'm sober. I'm 6 months sober. Right.
Also, super quick, if like, okay, let's just say we were like weirdly friends with Paige, right? And she was like, come to the summer house. And they were like, why'd you decide to come to the summer house? I'd be like, because
how could I turn this down?
I want to be a Bravo celebrity. But on the outside, I'd have to think of something else.
You're like, what's the production? It's kind of like The Bachelor. Like they always have to call it the process instead of like the show. So it's like, what's my production friendly term for this? I'm
just excited to hang out with Paige and make new friends. And Beyonce is here. Lies, Mya. We know we're just like you.
You did not need that many reasons.
So Carl is almost 6 months sober.
Yay! Yeah, my heart.
And he's single and hot. Like he is
hell hot. Yeah. Later when he talks about how good his skin is, I'm like, maybe I should give up drinking.
I should stop drinking. I have like a blemish now, and I was
oh my god, I have a whole family of pimples on my chin.
He's hot. He's just so hot. I can't handle. But he's ready to start dating, just like he said in before summer houses, but he's been nothing but a fuckboy.
Oh my god, this reminded me of all the Jax reunion. Like, I'm gonna be better next year.
I'm working on myself. Yes. This is it. But now he's sober, right? This is like, sure, we could compare Carl and Jax because they're closer in age, but I think it's more James and Carl, right? You become sober and you kind of have this perception of what you're looking for. He actually took initiative to like actually try and change, whereas Jax never actually did anything. It does take time and you have to want to do it. Like Jax never had like a big life moment where it propelled him to do it. The death of Carl's brother obviously was something so major that it had him. The death of his father should have been enough, but it wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't like it wasn't. He died from cancer. It wasn't a tragic he was an alcoholic and he needs to like be better. Yeah. Well, Carl's so hot. I have a big crush on him. So that it's Danielle and Carl are my peeps. I love them. So Amanda and Kyle get here. Kyle's so excited to be back. He's still technically a single man because he doesn't have the ring yet. And this is last summer as a not married man. He's got lover boy. He's planning for a wedding. He is ready to drink, go big or go home. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. We got to enjoy the summer. Kyle's all about enjoying his summers, and he's been working so hard that you can see the like mentality of like, I deserve this. This is my time to let off steam. And I get that. Yeah. So we're gonna pick rooms. Luke doesn't get a room because he's in Minnesota. Sad. Okay, this made me confused a little bit when they were talking about Luke because I couldn't decide like, is he coming? Is he late like he was last year? He has to be because he's in all the pictures. Yeah. Besides, also, it's July 2nd, so maybe he shows up July 3rd or 4th. Like, we really have only made it a day in this.
I know. Last season he came, I think, 2 days late. So this one is shocking. Either he's a day or two late again, or is waiting till after the 4th of July holiday.
Exactly. So Andrea is coming. Kyle and Amanda invited him.
Yay!
And Paige is happy because, you know, they had their hot and heavy vacation moment in Vermont. They were going out in the city, and then Andrea asked her to be exclusive, but Paige likes being single, so she didn't really want to give that up. And
I was kind of shocked to hear this is how it went down.
Because she was the one that's like, I want a boyfriend, but now
she's like, I'm gonna marry him.
Yeah. And we find out she's been hooking up with Craig since May.
And
that was lie.
Which, like, I thought it was then, but I didn't realize there was any like overlap or how like the Andrea part fit into this.
This is also not exclusive.
Which also, time out really quick. If you didn't watch Winter House, you're gonna need to, because that is a
too much overlap.
Yeah, for all of this stuff. It was 6 episodes. Go watch it, go listen to the podcast, and then like restart.
You honestly could just listen to the podcast if you really don't want to watch it, because we'll talk about this love triangle all the time. But
6
like
episodes,
now I'm curious,
really easy.
When did Craig and Natalie break up? It had to be right when they got back, right? Were they in Vermont in like February?
It was February of 2021 is when they filmed.
Okay, so he probably broke up with Natalie, let's say March.
Yeah.
Takes 2 months, starts hooking up with Paige.
Yeah, because they obviously live in different cities. So when he broke up with Natalie, he didn't just go fly to see Paige. Yeah. The next time they saw each other, it just happened naturally, I bet. Mm-hmm.
That's also not exclusive, though. Paige is not tied down to either of these men.
I'm like, honey.
They kind of look similar, but like also Andrea's like a way younger, hotter version. No offense to Craig, but he's like,
I know, but in it, he kind of becomes the like cheesier version of like, you know, you don't want perfect, you want like someone normal. So like that's where Craig's appeal really comes in.
Andrea's that dude where if you went out to a bar with him, he would get hit on all the fucking time. Yes. And you'd get annoyed. Like Paige is the type to get annoyed by that. Whereas Craig, like, it's just gonna be the people that know that he's Craig that are gonna hit on him and flirt, and Paige is gonna like that because she knows Craig's not gonna leave. He's 30-something.
I know, and I think
Delaware.
Paige wants to be the prettier one in the relationship too.
But yeah, doors open for anyone else in Paige's life. Might be a little awkward with Andrea, but she's not gonna care, which I love.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm like getting hot. I'm like ready for Andrea to show up. I'm like, let's see him.
So then at 6:08, he actually does show up with Alex. So Andrea comes in, he gives everyone a hug, especially Paige. He gives her a little long hug. And we meet Alex, who's a personal trainer. He is from New York City, born in Hong Kong, also lived in Switzerland. He's been all over the fucking place.
This was so funny when he was like explaining his life. He's like, yeah, and then I have from Hong Kong to go to Switzerland so I could get my citizenship, but I've like lived all over, you know, Miami and San Francisco. And I'm like,
Canada. Dude. And I was like, where?
Roll it back. Can you tell me why you've been like moving all over?
I hope we find out more.
I know.
I need to get the new kid. Like, there's already so much drama in the existing cast. I gotta know about these new kids, though. But if he wants to meet attractive girls, he obviously sticks with Andrea. And the only issue is he's like the opposite of a ladies' man.
I think he's just saying that to not come off as a dick.
No, I think he's just I think he's just nice, awkward guy. And especially if you're next to Andrea, who's suave and savvy like that, obviously girls aren't gonna. You got to hang out, right? Like Alex is the nice one.
Yeah.
That's like hanging out with the
girls hang out in packs. So he can always get the second or third girl. Like Andre gets his pick and there's going to be beautiful girls right next to them.
I know, but Alex he's like
I'm curious how he's going to translate onto the show, because he does seem a little awkward. Like
he seems too nice.
Well, like, I just don't think he knows how to start these conversations yet with these people.
He doesn't have like the confidence. Also, he doesn't have that ultimate TV show personality.
Yes. Yeah. It probably is going to take him a minute to like open up, and similar to a Gabby from Winter House is what I'm getting.
Yeah. Like he just doesn't have that click.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Andrea is not going back to Italy for the summer. He has a visa, and if he leaves, he can't come back. So he's like excited to be in the summer house, but it's also very bittersweet because like he doesn't get to see his family in Italy, which I get. It's very cute. He's like a very cute guy. I know he's a
I
dick, but
know.
he's
I
like
love
very cute.
when he talks about his family. But you know what? The one plus of not going home is he gets to spend the summer with Paige.
Yes. So Amanda and Kyle get their room. No complaining allowed, but the mattress is good, so we're fine.
I'm dead.
Alex like attempts to flirt with Lindsay, but Lindsay's a hard ass, man. You can't just flirt with her, and it was awkward to watch. And I feel bad for this kid. Andrea carries Paige's one luggage. We talked about this. She gets all her shit shipped.
Yeah, it'll be there later. Andre will have more to carry up in 2 to 5 business days.
Danielle, my spirit animal, has snacks just for her room.
I do too. I literally actually have a whole pile of snacks in my room right now.
Of course. So we got a girls hangout, Sierra and Paige. They're both single. Sierra does find Alex hot though, which like I was like, do that. Like that's the way. I need to see Alex in with a girl. Like I have to see that. But we all agree that Carl looks way hot and Sierra would obviously pick Carl. Which duh. Fucking duh. Look at him.
Absolutely. Especially with Alex in that dumb shirt, that cut off shirt. I'm like, he does look like such a little gym rat.
But sadly, we still have this situation with Austin. But Austin's openly said he's not ready for a relationship. But him and Sierra still talk regularly and there's feelings. I hate it. I hate it.
I hate it too. It didn't like really bother me that much in Vermont because again, it was like what, 2 weeks. It was like a fun winter fling. But like the fact that he says he doesn't want to be in a relationship and you're still talking to him, that's like a problem in my mind. Like, why are we talking to this guy when he has expressed he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you?
I'm so sad that Winter House made me like despise Austin at all. Like, I don't want him to come to the summer house. Like,
I want one episode. I want one episode with him because I can't. We know in the preview that shit happens, and I can't wait to see it like explode.
He makes me kind of dislike Sierra, and that makes me mad. I don't know. It's this situation. I hate it. I want nothing.
Well, hopefully we don't talk about him every episode. Yeah. Hopefully we only talk about him when he's there.
We're single. Paige and Sierra are fucking single.
Hell yeah.
But Paige is totally into Andrea. And then Andrea comes in with Paige's luggage and compliments her outfit. He knows. If someone complimented my outfit, I'd be like, it's jeans and a t-shirt. But if he was like, I think you're really funny, that's when I'd be like, cool. Thank you.
Well, it's like, it seems like Paige hasn't seen Andrea in a little bit because she's been more occupied by Craig. That when he showed up, she was like, man, I kind of forgot how hot he was.
Yeah, I took that one.
Ooh, I'm starting to feel it again.
I'm excited. So then Andrea ends up in Lindsay's room to help her unpack, which Lindsay was like, hey, do you want to help me unpack?
Lindsay had like everybody help her with like unpacking or doing clothes things this episode. And I'm like, how much help do you need?
I hate people unpacking for me because I know where I want everything.
She told him to grab her underwear. I was like, that is something you're definitely not touching up.
Super weird. He's actually a boob guy. He likes the bras. But they talk about the Paige thing, and Andrea said he likes Paige, and she reminds him of good times. And they saw each other in the city every day for 10 days straight. And he realized that he likes being in a relationship, but then Paige disappeared and he wants to know what happened. I cannot believe Paige is totally not. She loves being in love.
Yes, I'm so shocked. She is the girl who like, she wants to be settled in a relationship. I remember like her being with Perry. She was like, I'm not ready to like fully be married and kids yet, but like she's a relationship girl.
She is. I will bet you any amount of money. I don't know if it'll ever be confirmed, but my theory is she's intimidated by how good looking and charming and perfect Andrea is. That she's like, there's something wrong and I'm not going to stick around to figure out what that is. You know?
I agree.
So, okay, cool. Next, it's still Friday, 8:38. We're getting ready to go out. Cal and Amanda got this big ass closet, and Cal reminds Amanda that they can't buy a house until they can afford a closet like this. Which Kyle's like kind of weird, but okay.
I feel like he's like trying to find reasons that a house they like won't do it. Like,
yeah, he's like, we shouldn't have kids and we shouldn't get a house and we probably
we
shouldn't get
can't
married.
afford a
And
house
here's
like
why.
this, and we will only have a house with massive closets. So whoops, we can't buy a house.
No house. Yeah, that's fucking weird. It's time to get drunk. Andrea, though, laying it on thick with Paige. He knows how to compliment her. He knows how to work her. I love it. Also, is Carl drinking or is he just taking juice shots? Probably a juice shot, right?
I didn't see that he was doing shots, but yeah, that would make sense. I feel like that James does that sometimes.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure because I was like, maybe
I
he's
would
that
do that
California sober.
because like that's such a moment to be like shots, you know, like to just stand there and like look at people is a little tough.
Also, I wasn't sure. Obviously, he said he's sober, and I totally believe him. But he did. What was it, last summer house? He like had a 2-drink max.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, he tried like a monitor drinking.
But you know,
I feel like it would have to be
so.
all, for me, I think it would have to be all or nothing.
So Friday, 9:22, we're at the restaurant. We're all just like talking, and Paige asked Lindsay about Jason, and Lindsay says that she told him not to come. And Paige was like, why? And Lindsay just kind of like alludes that it's like kind of fizzling and she doesn't want a boyfriend. So she's just gonna have fun her first weekend, which is fair.
Yes. Yes. I'm like, we're getting little droppings of Jason and I need more.
I know. This is actually Sierra and Maya's first Hampton experience because Sierra was trapped in a house with these loonies all last year.
I mean, it didn't really matter where they were last season.
Yeah, so we learned more about Maya. She wants to hear everyone's engagement or like relationship status. So she says she actually just got out of a 5-year engagement.
Which like, whoa.
She's ready to have a summer. It ended 6 months ago. And Amanda is like, wait a fucking second. I've only been engaged for 3 years. There's still potential to break up.
When she said that, I was like, oh no.
No. Amanda, don't do this. Some people are engaged for 2 days and it works out fine. Like, please don't look into this.
I know. I was like, we are getting a lot of interesting comments because we know that they fight the whole summer. That's what it seems. If we're questioning this, you know, marriage throughout the season, it seems like they're going to just fight the whole season. Then I'm like, oh, first episode and we're getting these types of comments. Like, oh, I could still call off my engagement. 3 years isn't that long compared to 5 years.
I know. It was rough. But Kyle then says to Carl, he says he feels pressure to buy a kid and get a house. And Carl's like, other way around. But yeah, you get it. And then he says Amanda doesn't understand finances. But he says that part a little loud because then Amanda is like, Kyle, she's like, stop it.
Mm-hmm. So this isn't stuff you talk about at a table, especially a first night. Like you were bringing, not fun. You guys are not fun.
Not fun. You can tell though, Kyle's like slowly getting a little drunk. So he's like,
well, back at the house when they were like kind of pre-gaming, Amanda looked at him and was like, how many drinks have you had? And he was like, this is like my first one. I'm like, there's no way.
I know. Okay, so then everyone else is basically single. We find out Alex just got out of a 3-year relationship. It was basically like a pandemic breakup, which is fair. Those happen. But Danielle and Robert are fucking in love.
And they are going.
That's it.
Wrong.
They're dating. They've been living together for almost a year. They've been dating for almost a year. And I'm obsessed. Okay. She wants to be his wife right now. They're going to get married. Robert must know this because she's saying it on
I know. Show. And the thing is, like, she's saying it in her interviews, which are filmed like a few months later. So I'm like, we are doing really well.
He's currently in Aspen right now while she's in New York because he's out there on a job. And I'm
like live, like
yeah, like live today. He's in Aspen for like months.
Oh my God. I'm wondering, do you think he'll be on this season? Like he was obviously on last season.
I think work's too busy because he's a chef. You know,
I know. So I think you should be able to make it for one weekend.
He doesn't want to be a star.
I know, but even Perry dropped Paige off last season.
That's true. I think, you know how he showed up for one weekend last season? I think he'll do that again.
Okay, good.
But I think it helps that Danielle is going to go home on weekdays.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see them on a weekday little snippet.
Oh my God, that'll be fun. Just like catching the train together.
My heart.
Okay. So Paige says she's single, and also Andrea's single. So look out, world. And then Lindsay, what's happening with Jason? We got to know. We're all going to ask at the table now. And Lindsay says what's happening is we're just dating, and she's just seeing someone. That's how they
you do
it.
This is what you do when you're just seeing someone. I'm like, why do we have to talk about it like this?
And then Carl goes, "Oh, come on." And then Lindsay becomes activated. You can actually see it in her eyes.
It is
the moment.
I'm like, we must admit, I kept thinking we missed something in the editing, because I was like, this doesn't make sense. The entire table is talking about this topic.
Yeah. So basically, I didn't write down the entire fight because it's kind of the same thing. Basically, Carl's like, we're asking and you're not giving us any information. Yeah. And Lindsay's like, I gave you all the information I want to give you. And now she thinks Carl's coming at her.
Yeah, she's like, you guys are just coming at me. And everybody's like, no, we're genuinely asking.
And then she tells Carl, fuck you. And then Carl gets kind of mad. And I was like, I literally wrote, how did they end up dating? I was like, where does the love show up?
I don't know.
Yeah, so
Lindsay's so funny when she's like in a mood. I'm like, it's targeted at anyone. You blink at the wrong time and she's like, why are you looking at me like that?
I swear if someone sneezed, she would have killed them.
It scares me. I know. It scares me as a viewer. I'm like, don't breathe while she's yelling because I don't want her to hear me.
But yeah, so then I think it just kind of fizzles out because no one wants to fight at dinner because it's kind of embarrassing. So it's now 10:15. Oh no, wait, at 10:15, she's still yelling at Carl. And then she starts yelling at Kyle too, because Kyle tries to get involved. And then this is where Danielle tells us in her interview, like she knows Lindsay's crazy, but Lindsay's going through something that people don't know about right now, which is like, okay, there's some story we're gonna have.
Which, okay, I spoiled myself by seeing a post Lindsay's. I just saw a picture Lindsay posted of her in a hospital, and I was like, okay, oh my God, does she have cancer? I'm like, oh my God, she's dying on us. I was so scared.
Okay, no, but still sad, but not that sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I'm just gonna let you know, I'm like, at this moment in the show, I'm like freaking out.
I knew nothing. I was like, what is happening? So yeah, Lindsay goes off at Carl. Paige is then the one to be like, should we go out, everyone? All right.
He's like, stop talking. We're not yelling. Let's go dancing.
Yeah, we go to the club. This is when I said, figure out what club they're at so we can go. So when I go to Hamptons, I know where to stalk them. It is Southampton Social, everyone. Meet you there. So now we obviously don't get club nights, like we see them when they stumble home.
We get their like cell phone footage, which I actually do appreciate.
I love. So it's Saturday, 12:37 a.m. Carl's back from the club. He goes straight to bed. He says he knows Lindsay was acting strange, but talking about it now would make it worse because we get then a montage of Lindsay freaking out. So Carl knows to just like, we're going to drop it and come back later when you're
This is how I know they would be okay dating, because like Carl knows her so well to be like, yep. If I tell her to make me a sandwich, we're not gonna go well.
We're going to go to bed angry and we'll come back.
Yes. He's like willing to do that. And also Carl knows he's the sober one and he's the logical one in this situation.
Yeah, he's always sober. So he's the only one with the brain right now.
Yeah, not happening.
So it's now 1:57 a.m. We're all home. We're all looking for snacks. I got really sad because Lindsay goes to her room and just cries in a towel.
My heart. Sad. But I'm like with Danielle, I want the snacks.
Oh my God, she stole a lover boy from the bar. She's like, I know we have a ton of them, but I just had to steal this one. She's a kleptomaniac.
I love it. I think the really cool thing about the show is since we don't get the nights out, like they truly have a good night out. It's not like produced. They go and have fun, which leads us to funny drunk moments when we get home and like real drama.
Yeah, like that. Like her being like, I got this lover boy in my
love it. I love it. No other show would ever show quirky comments like that.
It's so funny. So then it's 2:05 a.m. and the trio of girls, Amanda, Sierra, and Paige, they show up looking fire. And, Andrea and Paige at the club, we're back where they belong, in each other's arms.
Love.
So now it's 2:31. these timestamps are very important right now because Kyle is the only one still at
They're-
the club.
It's funny to me
Everyone's
because
home
they like sit there and they're like, wait, everybody's home except Kyle.
except
How is
Kyle.
he not here if everyone's home? They're like so focused on everyone.
Who didn't take him home? Like if I'm Amanda, I would have been like, come with me.
Yeah, I wonder if
You
he
think
was,
he went in the other car?
I
He
guess.
did. And she was just like, I'm assuming he went home because
I don't
I'm
know,
not
but
gonna
it feels
assume
like it
Kyle went
takes a
home.
while for them to figure out he's not there.
Yeah, they get back at 2:05 and at 2:31, they're like, where the fuck
They're
is
like,
Kyle
everyone's
at?
here but Kyle. Weird.
They're like, where's Carl? Oh, he's sleeping. And everyone's like, I've been like, Carl's been sleeping for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Where are you guys? But yeah, so now it's 2:44 a.m. Kyle won't answer his phone. And this brings back a lot of memories for Amanda because this is not new behavior.
Nope.
So she starts calling over and over again.
To the point where like I was just gonna like count it based on the dials, and then I was like, oh my god, they're all
They're
edited together. It is
fast-coding.
one dial tone the entire time.
Yeah. So she's at this point, she's called 6 times. She goes to like check on the girls and she's like, I can't find Kyle. And she just says it's really triggering that he won't answer.
Yes.
Which I was like, yeah, if this was anyone else, right? If this is my boyfriend, I'm a little annoyed, but I'm not gonna call you more than twice.
Yeah, I'm not 6 phone calls deep at this point. I'm like locking my door and pissed at you.
Yes. But Kyle has a history, if you know Kyle, of going out, getting too drunk to remember anything and cheating on Amanda. And we have seen solely, like even just on Summer House, her calling a million times and him not answering.
Yes.
And now they're engaged.
But
so
usually like Carl would be with Kyle. So I feel like there's a slight comfort knowing somebody else is with him, that him being alone is even scarier.
Yeah, it's like not looking good. So we get to phone call number 9 and I'm like, maybe she'll go to bed. Now it's 3:01 a.m. and she's at 24 calls.
I'm like pissed that we're even at 24 calls for my own sanity.
I know. And now she's starting to lose it. Like now she's really starting to
lose it.
Crying. And now it's 3:09 and we're at call 27 and she starts trashing his shit in the bathroom.
I heard the glass break and I was like, oh no, this isn't like I'm dumping your shit out and just spilling it. Like,
can I ask, have you ever gotten to a moment like this with anyone where you like break their shit? Like how mad they're not there. So you're just doing this while they're not.
I have done it when they are there. My brother collects glass bottles and they're on a wall that is to like the other room. And once I banged on the wall and a few like tumbled down, I did that knowing like I would break up.
Oh well, whatever.
So I've done that, but like
I've never done it when they're not there.
No, I understand like grabbing their shit and like throwing it. Like I said, if it's like plastic, because you're like trying to make a visual appearance of I'm pissed.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's glass, I wouldn't want to do that because then I'd have to clean it up or like walk through glass. Like I'm hurting myself now.
Yeah. This to me is the equivalent of like a man getting angry and punching a hole through the wall. Like she's just breaking his shit. It was clearly like I'm too mad and I have no way of letting that anger out. I'm just gonna kill. I get that.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Okay, so Paige and Sierra hear stuff happening.
They're like, who's awake? Has to be Amanda.
I love Sierra going, who's awake right now? Because they're like watching movies at 3 a.m. And Paige is just on her phone. They're not even worried. They're like, it's got to be Amanda. And then
they're like, yikes! It's clearly getting worse. What do we do?
So at this point, Amanda has packed up Kyle's shit and has locked it outside, which is hilarious.
Oh my god. It's not funny because I feel so bad for her. Like I'd be so angry, but watching this, I'm like, oh no, it just keeps getting worse.
Soberly watching it when you know they get married, that's what makes this funny. Like you know they don't break up this time, so you're just kind of like, it's fucking kind of funny. So like I literally wrote down, it's not funny, but it's funny. So
you're just, my eyes are wide and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, we are getting in really deep. How did this wedding happen?
So Paige and Sierra go to Amanda's room and she is sobbing, not crying, sob.
Like you can't even get air in your lungs, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she starts telling them like this is her biggest fear. He gets drunk one night and he cheats on her, and he won't even know it would happen because it happened 3 years ago, and he has cheated on her before that.
And it like they remember that like we think he cheated on her, and then like
Oh
he
my God, we
messaged
don't
that
even
girl
know.
and
Yeah.
like she said no, it didn't happen. Like the fact that like
But
you have
Lindsay
to
said it happened because there was another girl that said it had like
yeah.
So yeah, Amanda's super triggered. And then I guess a few weeks ago, they were in the city and Kyle went out by himself drinking and she couldn't get a hold of him. And it got so bad that Amanda's mom called her a card service and like
And
got
took her
Amanda
back
out
to
of
New
there.
Jersey. I'm like, oh, shut like the fuck up. And Paige and Sierra clearly didn't know this. Like,
Didn't know.
this is groundbreaking.
And then we find out, this is the part that I like almost choked at. There are papers that say if Kyle can't get his drinking under control, and Amanda has to call off the engagement, he owes Amanda's parents money for the wedding that they're paying for.
You posted a tweet about this and you were like, if you have to have paperwork, why are we getting married?
Yeah.
And I agree with that. It is so bad that you are financially concerned that like you're gonna call off your wedding, but your parents wasted all this money. I'm sorry.
You're putting a contract in order to protect their money.
I've never been this concerned about Kyle and Amanda because we never hear about like them outside of Summer House. Yes. And so like I understand Kyle's mindset a little bit of like, it is summer, I live for summer, I'm going ham. And then it goes too far.
An alcohol company. I have to go to the bar and promote my alcohol.
Yes, like I see how previous seasons we got into these situations, but this night and Amanda sharing this stuff, I'm like, what the fuck? This is so dark.
When it happens this frequently, it's concerning, but also like, you know, what's going to trigger her is not answering your phone. Because then she thinks you're doing something like you have already.
And like what were your timestamps? Like what time did the girls come home? And what time? It's like 3+ in the morning now. Like how long?
It is like 3:30 at this point, and she started calling you at like 2:30. So it's been an hour.
And remember, she ran out of Paige and Sierra's room and was like, oh, let me find my friends, ping that shit.
Yeah. So she was doing that. It's like, I think this would all be solved if Kyle would just answer his fucking phone.
I agree. But that's the problem, is it's not like he just goes out and gets hammered. It's that he goes out and then he ghosts. Yeah.
He was missing. And this was when I actually got so sad because like Amanda's sobbing, Sierra and Paige are shook. And they're just like, what do we do? So now it's 3:32 a.m. Amanda's still losing her mind. Sierra and Paige are on edge. We don't know what to do. And then at 3:59, so an hour and a half after Amanda starts freaking out, Kyle's home. He struggles with the door. He does not bring in his luggage. Idiot. And then he sits down to eat some almond cookies.
Which I died because I do love drunk Kyle eating food.
Kyle eating. But he still has not called back Amanda. Like I was like, dude, in the Uber, call her back.
He has no idea that she is angry.
I mean, 27 calls. You got to know someone's
clearly he's not looking at his phone though. He literally went and ate cookies.
I literally go, did he lose his phone?
I don't think he thought that was his suitcase. I think he would have brought it in. I think he thinks it's somebody else's.
Oh my God. And so Kyle then heads to his room, which this is the funniest part of this whole thing, is Amanda, Paige, and Sierra are up listening. Like their heads are up and they hear Kyle come in the room and they all put their heads down.
And fake asleep.
So Kyle walks in and they're all pretending to be asleep. And I would have started laughing. I'm like really glad I know. Because you hear Kyle go, what the fuck?
I know, because it's dark in there. So it's like he can probably see some outlines. And he's like, what? I wonder if he thinks he's seeing double. And he's like, are there 3 bodies there or not?
Yeah, he was just like, what the fuck is happening? So he walks out of the room, and the minute he does, they all jump up really quick. And I don't know if this was planned, but this was fucking hilarious. So they jump out of the bed, and even Amanda leaves, right? Yes. All 3 of them like dip. Sierra and Paige go back to the room. Amanda goes to this spare bedroom that I'm assuming is close to this master bedroom because she can hear Kyle.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. So then Kyle walks back in and he's like, why is the bed empty?
I would be so fucking confused.
This is the only, I wish we got more Kyle at this, just going like, where did they go? Like,
you're like, okay, I was just questioning if I saw 3 bodies in here, and now I'm like, where did they go? Because it's like, who were the people? Where are they now?
What happened to them? I thought they were asleep when I walked in.
Why were they in my bed, and why are they gone now? I don't think he knows that she's mad.
He has no clue. But so then he finds out because he walks in the bathroom and he finds all of his shit broken. And
he steps on the glass.
Yeah, he becomes pissed. He hasn't realized still, he knows Amanda's pissed, but now he's pissed. So he doesn't care Amanda's pissed. So now we all go to bed, I assume. Because now it's 6:02 a.m. on Saturday. Kyle's shit is still
Oh, Carl is up and at him, ready to take on the day. And then he's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, so every day.
Because Carl was not awake for any of this.
No, Carl has to have a daily routine to survive after what happened with his brother and his sobriety. He has to have like a schedule. And so every morning he wakes up, meditates, and then goes to an AA meeting, which is so hot, like amazing. I love men with their lives together. But he walks outside and he's like, why is Kyle's shit here? So he brings it in.
He's probably like, here's a reason to stay sober. Look what the fuck's going on in this house already.
Never drink again. So he brings it in because he's the kindest human. And then we see Alex is also up at 7:02 a.m. Alex is making some breakfast and he
2 pounds of turkey.
That's a lot of turkey. That's like
I'm like, is this morning gonna get even weirder? What's the next person gonna do?
Yeah, and then we see Kyle and Amanda obviously spent the night apart. And then at 10:06, everyone starts kind of waking up. Carl's back from his full productive day. And Danielle just
4
woke
hours.
up. I know, Danielle just woke up and they're hanging out in the kitchen. And Carl's like, I found Kyle's suitcases outside. And Danielle's like, oh, awkward. I was asleep.
Yeah.
And then Carl's like, do you want me to cook for you? Because Danielle's dating a chef, so I assume she doesn't cook.
I was thinking about this. I was like, she's probably like, man, I'm hungry, but I don't have my person to cook for me.
I don't cook anymore. So Carl offers, which again, so nice. I keep falling in love with this man. And then Carl says he needs to apologize to Lindsay. She seemed off yesterday. And Danielle, being a good friend, is just like, yeah, like just talk to her later kind of thing. So now it's 10:21. Kyle's up. He walks in the kitchen in his boxers, clearly struggling. And Carl goes, hey, man, found your luggage outside. And Kyle's like, that's weird because I brought it in last night. So that shows you how shady people are. And I was like, sir, we have video footage of you not bringing it inside.
I for a minute thought
luggage gate.
Yeah, but also I couldn't tell if he meant like whenever they first got there, he brought his luggage in and he thinks somebody just like
did he see his luggage last night? Because
I don't think so.
I feel like we would have gotten a shot of Kyle going, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But we just saw
the way he reacted with the glass, he was like, what the fuck? What's going on?
Yeah, but he didn't react to his luggage.
No.
So now he's like, that's weird because I brought it in. So then he grabs his shit from the front and brings it into his room. But of course, everything falls out as he's bringing it in his room, which is
I died.
It's hilarious. So Paige and Sierra are up. They talk about how fucked up last night was because now they know there's a contract if the wedding gets called off. And Kyle owes a lot of money to Amanda's parents.
That was groundbreaking. And the way Sierra said that red flag has fireworks on it was accurate.
Yeah. She's like, Sierra's like, she can't get married. And they're just like, she can't get married. Like they're both
why would you want to go through with a wedding if you have a contract like this? Like there clearly is no trust that you had to put this contract in place because that's how scared you are.
I know. Kyle's not the number one guy in the group, but know who is? It's Andrea because
hold on, wait, really quick. I wonder if Amanda won't postpone the wedding because they've already had to plan this like a million times. If this had been the year they were supposed to get married anyways, I feel like she'd postpone it. But they've planned this wedding like 3 or 4 times already.
I love Amanda, but I think she wants to get married to Kyle so badly that she sees no red flags. She sees
she like obviously can't handle it. in the moment, but she like keeps holding out for what
she's
just
gonna
the good
change him.
moments.
She's
Yeah.
gonna change him. That's what she thinks. He's gonna change because he loves her so much.
Yeah.
No. But you know who doesn't have to change? It's Andrea, because he brings both these bitches coffee and they are so fucking happy. And then Alex gets back and he's so happy. It's like 11:02 now, and Alex is so happy that there's still a pound of turkey left for him to eat. And I was like, who the fuck was eating your turkey you kept out?
I
on the
love how
counter?
Paige was like, they were like joking
Who the
about it. And
hell?
she's like, let's just have tacos in the morning.
Yeah, she's like, who the fuck's protein is
Who
this?
does
And he walks
this?
in and he's like, my turkey. And she's like, what? Yeah.
Weird
Weird
thing to
flex.
stake a claim over.
He goes,
Yeah.
something like, that's my turkey. I ate like a pound this morning. And she goes, you're flex, but okay. So we find out, I don't know, Alex is like a fitness trainer, obviously, but he has to have 12 ounces of meat a day, which he says evens out to 2 pounds of protein.
Okay, his like math I died over because
Weird.
I'm like, I don't even know what you're calculating, but still, whatever amount you eat, the fact that you're talking about how much protein you eat in this depth, I don't like him.
Who
He's
cares?
making me more and more bored.
He cares. But then the producers were like, why do you eat that much protein? Because that would be my question, and be like, what's happening? And he goes, because you need protein to live. I was like, no, you don't actually.
I hate him so much.
He could have just said, oh, like it helps build muscle, and as a fitness trainer I need to do this. Now he's like, protein to live. And I was like, listen, sir, I've gone days on just carbs and it is fine.
Yeah, let's not take it too seriously.
Paige is going to make some protein though, because she watched a YouTube video on how to make a perfect scrambled egg, but she does forget the salt. So
I love
like,
her so much.
I know. But so then Carl goes to see Lindsay this morning. He helps Lindsay lace her shoe, which is like fun.
Again, weird requests for help with your clothing.
Weird flex, but okay. So he's like, how was your night? And Lindsay goes, well, I cried myself to sleep. And Carl's like, oh.
When people say that, I always find it so funny.
I just don't love when people are like, how was your night? And people say anything but like good. My mom has a friend where like not a friend, it's a neighbor, right? So my mom will see her and be like, hey, how are you? And this neighbor, no joke, goes, not good, and just starts talking about all these depressing things. I'm like, no.
Sometimes I'm like, when I say how are you, it's similar to a wave. It's just like you do your thing back and we both move on with our life. Now, if we're like best friends, like you and I can chat about like really what's going on in our lives.
How are you? Yeah.
But I'm sorry, the random person I see in their lawn every like 3 days, I don't actually want your therapy stories.
And I think Carl was just trying to open up and be like, I'm about to apologize, but like, oh, how was your night? And Lindsay's like, I cried myself to sleep.
And you're like, oh, okay.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're definitely close enough to be able to do this, but that is kind of funny that you're
so funny. So Carl does apologize for coming at her, but because Carl and Lindsay are friends, he explains his stance where he said, we were talking about it. So I just thought I'd ask questions. And Lindsay said that with Jason, it's complicated. And Carl's like, okay, like, please elaborate.
Can you give me more than just that?
Lindsay says a month ago, she reached out to Carl and said something's up with her body. It's either this COVID vaccine or she's pregnant. And Carl's like, yeah, I remember that. And Lindsay goes, well, I was 6 weeks pregnant. And Carl's like, holy shit. I know. And then she says she found out, she immediately went to the gynecologist when she thought this. She found out she was pregnant on a Monday, and then on that Tuesday she had a miscarriage, and on Wednesday she was in the hospital for 5 hours, in the emergency room for 5 hours. And Carl feels so bad. He's like, Lindsay, I feel bad you didn't tell me. And Lindsay says she, couldn't tell other people because she wasn't even really able to process it. It all happened so fast. And she says she told him, which we can all assume is Jason.
Yeah.
She told Jason immediately about like everything that was happening. And Lindsay says she's okay. And Carl says he's happy she's okay. But Lindsay's struggling because she absolutely would have had this child. So that's what makes her most sad.
And we all know Lindsay had that like plan, that timeline. Like she wants this to happen very quickly. So like, I'm sure she was elated, and Jason is a great guy. So I don't think it was like
He would have said, your body, your choice, whatever you want to do, I'm going to support you.
But I think she would have been like, not only would she have been happy to have a baby because she's been wanting one so bad, but like
Jason,
he's such a great partner and such a great person.
Yeah, even if they weren't together, they could co-parent. Like Jason would be down to co-parent.
This isn't like Strabby where they're having dumb fights. Like he's a normal, considerate, like when he talked about her on Winter House, like strong women don't scare him. Like, you know, he respects her so much.
Yeah. So she was just really sad. She never thought that this would happen to her. She's always wanted a family, and we know that she's always wanted to be a mom. And she said Jason has been great, but Lindsay just kind of had to get through this on her own. And Carl is just shocked. He doesn't even know what to do besides give Lindsay a hug. And I was honestly crying for fucking real during this.
This was insane because
I was sobbing.
You know, I'm such a timeline person. Like she said, this happened a month ago. So this is like really early June, and she was 6 weeks pregnant. So what, like mid-April? She probably got pregnant.
Mid-April. Yeah. So
like it seems like her and Jason were hot and heavy from February, March, April. And going through this probably that's what probably screwed up their relationship, is like a trauma moment where she says she needed to get through it alone, like puts distance between them.
Yeah, it's sad. And I think like both Jason and Lindsay are just like, I think it was horrible for both of them to probably go through. But yeah, what makes it even sadder is this like really probably kind of tore them apart a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, everyone grieves differently, and Lindsay obviously wanted to grieve alone.
Yeah. Like you wonder if this unfortunate experience didn't happen, like could they have like made it?
I know.
Because I really like them in Winter House. I'm happy to explore this like Carl stuff in real time.
But I did really I think Jason's a good guy. And like we said, he would have really been there for Lindsay, whether they be partners or in a relationship or co-parents. Like he would have been there for this child.
Yes.
He would have said, have it. He wouldn't have said, I don't want to be a dad. He wouldn't have said like, no. He would have said, whatever you want to do, I'm going to support you.
Exactly. And I even just selfishly like getting a little bit of their relationship on this show, if they didn't last long term, I think would have been really cool.
Yeah. And like, oh my God, Lindsay, like she just wanted that kid so bad.
I know, my heart breaks. Hopefully with her and Carl, it's like for real this time, and they can maybe she can create a new timeline.
I know. It should have ended here, but then we have to address Kyle and Amanda, which was
like my God, though. I'm happy they included it in this episode though, because this is quite the cliffhanger and I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, so Amanda has woken up. She is in the bed. She climbs into bed next to Kyle.
Which I was like, okay. I thought she was going to lay right down next to him as if nothing happened.
I did too. But instead she's sitting up and sobbing. And Kyle's like, why are you making this such a big thing?
Which I was like, what?
Social. And Kyle said, you know, like, he wasn't like fucked up enough to deal with Amanda last night. So Amanda gets pissed. She's like, you didn't answer my phone calls. You can't do this to me. It's fucking triggering. And Kyle says, you know, he's mad. So he fucking walks away. He doesn't even like talk to
he's basically like what I did to you. Look what you did. Like, look at all my shit.
He's straight up gaslighting her.
Oh yeah, which like I'm not like what Amanda did like is fucked up.
It's not
like
great, yeah.
But these are separate issues, because what he doesn't recognize is if he wouldn't pull his shit, she wouldn't have pulled that.
Yeah. And he's just like, you destroyed my shit. And she's like, great, I called you 27 times.
Let's focus on the first issue.
We've talked about this in therapy. Yes. And he like refuses to take any kind of responsibility for it.
He wants to deflect onto what she did.
Yeah.
It's so cringy.
He can't just say, I should have answered your calls, but you shouldn't have destroyed my stuff. It is just, you shouldn't have destroyed my stuff.
Yes. I don't think he thinks he did anything wrong.
I don't think he did either, or he does either. Which like, I can see where he's like, you're the crazy one that called me 27 times. But if you have a history of doing this shit to this person,
if you have had to sign, if you're Kyle and have had to sign a contract
for drinking too much,
there are multiple like things. This isn't just like in years past, I was like, this isn't like, I understand why he doesn't think this is a big deal. This is where they just separate and like have different opinions on this, but like they're in therapy clearly, that he is signing a contract about this. And like, it's been so bad. Like, could you imagine that night he got home and Amanda's mom had gotten that car for her? Like, your fiance's just gone.
Why do you not just answer your fucking phone call, my dude?
Or like the next day show some remorse because you clearly know what you did is hurting her.
You know what? It could be as easy as, sorry, I can't really hear that well, but I'll be home soon. Just text her, call, like, tell her you're alive in some fucking
For
way.
me, where I need him to start is literally just even remorse the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it will build habits to like get better with his drinking. It's going to take some time, but like the fact that he does not feel bad about it is insane.
Also, the
to me.
fact that it's the next morning and he doesn't feel bad.
Yes.
He has reflected on this and he's still pissed.
And he's pissed at her for throwing his shit on the ground.
Yeah. Crazy. And then we end with to be continued. So we do not get a next.
They're like full blown screaming too. So like everyone in the house is like,
oh my God. Yeah. Paige in the kitchen was like, well, it's happening.
Which like, I think everybody has probably grown up and heard their parents scream and it's like, oh no, you're just like,
Mya and Alex
ruins the whole mood of the day.
Alex double downs on that pound of turkey. He's just stuffing it in to get the fuck out of there.
It's day 2 when they're just full blown.
Oh my God, it's hour 12. Like, these people are crazy. I can't wait.
And think like only Paige and Sierra know about the contract and everything else, or like even what happened last night.
Carl knows.
Oh, that's a good point.
Embarrassing though.
No, I don't think so. If Paige didn't know, I don't think Carl would know.
Well, we'll see what happens. Should we do fun, not fun? Because then I have watch what happens live stuff.
Yeah, let's do fun, not fun. I think we're gonna agree on our not fun.
It's Kyle.
Kyle, not fun. Dude, you can, in my opinion, it is your business and your relationship, so it is how you handle it. Like, you can go out and drink, and that part doesn't bother me. It's the rest of it.
It's the fact for me that you have a history of doing this to her, and you can't even be like,
bad history. Triggered. This isn't just I got shit-faced and didn't really answer your one call. Like, this is bad. I
have forgotten I've cheated on you bad.
Alarms are ringing.
I know. Like, this man, they should not. At this point, I'm like, they shouldn't get. I know they get married, and I
know, but like I'm like,
but they shouldn't get married.
How do they get married? I am like, I'm scared for Amanda. Like, is this still happening?
Is this her life now?
I'm like, do you need a divorce lawyer? I can help you.
I don't know. I'm very scared. Okay, but we're gonna do fun. Also, I know for Winter House we did where you can only pick like one person. We don't know how long Summer House is gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Can you pick people multiple times?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. Who was your fun? Oh my God, there's so many fun.
I'm gonna do Carl. I'm really proud of where he's at. He is so fun. He's got great skin. He's in a great place. He's got a great routine. Like, he's fixing things with Lindsay because he knew it was just best to let it lie for that night. Like, he is such a great friend and he's such a great person inside and out. And I feel like you really can't be there for people unless you like have your shit together yourself. And you can really see that with this moment with Lindsay. He doesn't try and say things or make it better. He just says, I wish I could have been there for you.
I love Carl. He's amazing. But I'm gonna throw it to Lindsay. I know her story is not fun in any way. It's very sad and heartbreaking. But if this was old Lindsay, she would have made this the entire house's issue. She would have been a nightmare. But no, she came into this so happy. She worked with herself to get through this horrible thing that happened to her. She did snap at one point, but she did recognize it.
How could you not?
She had the strength to open up to Carl and tell him about it. And she seems to like, she's upset and she's sad, but she, as a strong, independent woman, has come to terms with it. And I really I love her. I think that she's great.
I think, which it's weird to say this about someone who's like so much older than us, but I feel like this is the most mature we've ever seen Lindsay. Like, Winter House, it was a little interesting because of the like Austin drama. It felt very middle school Lindsay, and I felt like she backslid a little bit, but like, she seems like, despite going through a lot, like in a great place with like the pressure of the things she has like previously gotten caught up in. You know, the I want a ring, I want a baby, I want a house, that type of stuff. I feel like she's kind of letting that go. And I wonder if when she grieved that loss, if she somehow grieved this timeline a little bit too, when it's made her freer.
I'm very excited to see Carl and Lindsay become a couple. I just don't know how we get there.
I would be overjoyed if they got pregnant before they like ever got like married. I'm so in for that timeline.
I know. I want
a little baby Carlito. I want her to have babies. Listen, I used to not like her, and I love like how much I've come around on her that like I want to see this.
I know. I'm like a big Lindsay stan now.
I know.
This is it. Okay, so Watch What Happens Live. Kyle and Carl were on it, along with Lindsay and Amanda cutouts, which was so funny. So Andy asked Kyle, hey, you got a phone call 27 times. Why did you not answer? And Kyle said his phone was on silent, and when he saw the calls, he knew he was in trouble, so he just fucking doubled down. And it was like, well, at this point, I'm already in trouble, so I'm just gonna keep partying.
No.
But he says he should have answered, which obviously is fucking hindsight, my dude, but still you're wrong. So then we had a poll, and I also had this poll. I copied a lot of Watch What Happens Live questions on our Insta polls, but on Watch What Happens Live, it said, whose side are you on, Kyle or Amanda's? 14%. No, 18% said Kyle and 82% said Amanda.
18% people said Kyle. Are you kidding me?
And then us, we had 7 voters, 6 said Amanda and 1 said Kyle.
No, who's the one Kyle?
If you said Kyle, can you DM us?
You know what? No judgment. I'm just curious.
No, I just want to know
the why. Yeah.
Where's your thought process? So then Andy asked, would you still marry Kyle if you were in Amanda's shoes?
No.
14% said yes, and 86% said no.
I'm sorry.
So who's the person that said they're on Kyle's side, but they're not going to marry him because you're a poser and you're not on his side?
Okay, here's the thing is I don't know if I would like full blown. I think I would still try and work it out because of how much time is invested in this and how long this engagement has been. But like, I would have left that summer house and been like, you need to get your shit together. Like this show, I'm living my life for this show at this moment. Like we are clearly in such deep shit. Yeah. We need to figure out us. That's what I would have done.
So then they were asked about the contract, and Andy asked Carl, does he think the contract was a good idea? And Carl said that Amanda's dad is a smart business guy, and Carl understands why there was a contract in place.
Good.
Carl's a little team Amanda. So Carl also said when there's a dollar amount, it makes sense to Kyle. Like this is what is at stake. It's this dollar amount.
Which is really sad that he clearly doesn't
put a dollar on Amanda.
Yes, that's really sad that like his value is money, not like in a monetary sense, not like his love for Amanda and wanting to be better clearly isn't enough.
Monetary, like he can't see it's
the value of losing Amanda. Yeah.
So then Andy asked the question, who's hotter, Andrea or Craig? Not who would you rather date, not who's better.
Yeah, but I think personality is why I answered how I answered.
So 44% said Andrea and 56% said Craig. I asked it on our Instagram and it's split right down the middle, 50-50.
I picked Craig.
I picked Andrea.
Because I think Craig's personality, like I could not actually spend time with Andrea. Like I could just look at him, but I don't think I could really talk to him and hang out with him.
See, but like looking at Andrea, like I am just like, oh, hello. He's hotter to me. Would I rather date Craig? Yeah. Would I?
Yeah, but like I said, Andrea? I think like spending time with someone makes someone so hot to me, and I like love Craig's personality.
I think you're thinking like Paige. I don't actually know Craig. Like I get Craig.
Yeah.
But like he's just not as yummy to look at.
I love his like subtle shade of people. It just really gets me going. I feel like that's how I am in a lot of social settings.
So we do get confirmation Carl and Lindsay are officially together. They said they didn't put a label on it, but Carl said they're officially boyfriend girlfriend. So that's some bullshit. Because
I'm pretty sure they're exclusive is what they said, but and then the question about boyfriend and girlfriend, and Lindsay said she wasn't putting those types of labels.
Yes. So then the question was asked, are Carl and Lindsay a good match? 67% said yes, and 33% said no. And I posted and said, is Carl the one for Lindsay? And everyone said yes. It's 100% out of 10 people.
I think they are. I think really successful relationships are great when it starts from friendship.
I think they're a good match, but I'm hesitant until I see how we got there.
Yes, I agree.
But I do think
they're in different places than the first time. So I'm not going to
Yes.
I don't want people to hold the first little week of a relationship against them, because so much has changed. And like
Yes.
Carl, in a sense, kind of was the problem there. And so much has changed with Carl.
Okay, so Carl and Lindsay live in the same building, and Carl does say they're in a new space, in a good place. Carl has different priorities, and they're having a lot of fun. And he even got so nervous his voice cracked a little bit, which was like very cute. But yeah, they're best friends and they respect each other. And so then Andy's like, how'd you reconnect romantically? I gotta know. So I got some deep. So it was the end of summer at Kyle and Amanda's wedding. And it was just like love was in the air. They felt some feels. Carl did hold back a little bit when he started to kind of get feelings, because it's scary to pursue your best friend. But he's always thought Lindsay was really attractive. He actually saw her once on Watch What Happens Live. Like, she came out and was like, what do you think of my outfit? And he was like, holy shit. Like, he was like into it. But
I wonder if that's what she was on for Winter House.
I hope, because like, fuck you, Austin.
Well, it makes the Austin moment from this fall when he was on Watch What Happens Live and she was in the audience.
They talk about that. Yeah. Okay. So what else do I have? Yeah. So Carl went into the summer thinking Lindsay was going to have her fun, and he didn't know if he was going to have fun. I'm assuming because he's like sober. And
yeah,
like,
he was really cautious.
Yeah, he was looking for more of a relationship, and I think Lindsay was looking for like makeouts and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he just said he wanted her to be happy, and they don't hook up this summer. They did not hook up at all this summer.
That makes me happy, because I don't want Austin intermingled in that.
There is a sleepover, but all that happened was they slept in the same bed. It was a prom party that they have, and she left early, so there would be no drama in the house about it. Like, nothing happened though.
Gotcha.
And he said sober Carl can handle Lindsay better. He knows that she likes consistency, and he can now be consistent, which I was like, that is so hot. So the Austin shit. Basically, Andy was like, did you see Austin on Watch What Happens Live when he shaded Lindsay? And Carl was like, that's just not being a good friend. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
They don't have to be together.
No.
The fact that he shaded Lindsay when she was right here.
He like embarrassed her so much. Yeah.
Yeah. And Carl said that, and he's like, I'm not okay with that. And then that's when Lindsay cut off their friendship. And Carl says he thinks Austin like probably misses Lindsay, but Lindsay's like better off kind of without him, because he did that to her. Carl and Austin are still friends, but obviously they like live in different cities. Yeah. So it's like Bravo.
It's friends. Like the Bravo. Yeah. The Bravo friendship.
So then they asked like these questions where it's like the bros had to match their answers or whatever. I just wrote a few down. First, Kyle's was really scared of this episode, especially having Amanda's parents see it.
Oh,
because everyone kind of sees their issues, but we're fine. And I was like, ooh, I'm judging. Anyway, let's do this bro matchup question game. Did they miss Hannah at all this summer? No. Both of them said nope, but no. Don't give a shit.
I honestly kind of forgot she was on this show.
I know. Andy was like, do you miss them? And both of them were like, it was like 3, 2, 1. No. No, neither. So then it was like, who don't you want to share a bathroom with in the house? And they both said Luke at the same time.
I feel like he can be very messy. Remember Sierra's bed last year, actually? Speaking of messy.
Yeah, honestly, Sierra. But no, they said it's because Andy's like, why? And they're like, because we think Luke plays country music while he like shits, and it's kind of weird.
Oh.
And Andy's like, now I just think about Luke shitting, but okay. Like it's like, I was like, that's not the weirdest thing that could happen in a bathroom family. Okay. So who activates Lindsay the most? Kyle said everybody, but I think Carl said Sierra. Someone said Sierra.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. I bet Sierra's sticking up for Austin, and Austin is shitty. Did Austin go on Watch What Happens Live before? No, it was after Summer House. It had to be after Summer.
It was after Summer House. Yeah.
Okay. So they asked who has the best sex in the house, and they said Andrea. Just look at him.
Ooh.
Okay. And then, do you think Sierra is too good for Austin? Yes. So
Isn't everybody?
Issues with Austin, but I'm very excited. I'm glad there's probably going to be a reunion.
Yes. Yep.
Because Summer House isn't known for having reunions until last year when it was the best reunion ever aired on Bravo.
I agree.
Till Salt Lake City, but of course.
Well, first episode of season 6. Like, wow.
It was good. It was good.
I'm excited.
It was great. But yeah, so just to wrap it up, be sure to check out Vanderpump, our Vanderpump podcast called It's About Pasta. That will go on for another 2 weeks. So be sure to catch up if you want to listen. And we will be doing this podcast until Summer House ends. So be sure to join us if you're like new or anything. We do this all the time. So we love it.
Rate, review, subscribe. And follow Alicia on Instagram. Well, Alicia, our Instagram, but follow Alicia's tweets after the show.
We used to only get like 3 votes, and now we're getting 12. So it's helping a lot. Also, if you were the one that said you were on Kyle's side, please DM us. I'm so interested.
We want to know.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.